What's up everyone? Welcome to Yoga with Adriene. I am Adriene and today I'm tackling a question about tabletop position for our yoga tips episode. I often get a question about this tabletop position, people wondering if they're stacking the bones right and just not knowing necessarily if they're doing it right, which in this particular pose, I feel you. Even though we talk about it's not about doing it right, it's about, having an experience. I did feel like this one warranted a little extra chat because we can take the action and the alignment of tabletop position into so many other postures. So we're going to come onto all fours. I have a little towel, or you can get a little blankie to pad the knees if you want. And we're going to come into what we think is that tabletop position. So we're going to start with the palms. So first of all, and I'm going to do my best to really talk you through this. So you can watch this one time through and then experience it. But I'm going to do my best to really talk you through so you can experience this while the video is playing rather than having to crank your head the whole time. So here we'll take it nice and slow. This is one of the great things about the foundations of yoga and these yoga tips is we can really take the time to break it down in public class, or even maybe you only have an hour for home practice or less, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. You just kind of want to get through beginning, middle, end, have an experience. But today we're going to break it down, little yoga tips, yoga school. Okay, so we're going to come on to all fours. We're going to start with the hands. Hand to earth, hasta bandhas. We spread the palms wide, spread them super wide like starfish. So it really does start here. There's this kind of like thing that happens with the hands sometimes, and we keep them here, or the index finger and thumb get left behind and we're crashing into the outer edges of the wrists. So really, truly spread the palms wide. Make sure you're pressing into that fleshy part between the index finger and thumb. There is a tendency here to roll to the outer edges of the wrist, and that can cause unnecessary strain. So forget about that. Spread the palms wide, press into all 10 knuckles. Then go ahead and shift your shoulders over your wrist here. So if you need to walk the palms out, go for it. And we're going to keep a soft bend in the elbows as we practice pressing away from the yoga mat. So there's a tendency to, again, kind of just forget about the hands, crash into the outer edge, lock the elbows and shrug the shoulders. But again, just focusing on this part of the body, we're going to press into the palms, spread the fingertips wide, soften through the elbows, and again, press away from the earth. This is half the battle right here, really paying attention to this. You might begin to rock a little front and back, and you might, particularly if this is new, begin to feel a little shake and that prana kind of vibrating and the arms getting really tired. And this is a good thing. This means we're working in the right direction. So we're building strength and awareness with proper action and alignment here. Tops of the shoulders draw away from the ears again. Careful not to lock the elbows here, but keep a nice softness. And yeah, I really feel this in my arms. I can feel my left arm trembling a little bit for whatever reason. And I'm stacking the bones. Great, now let's pay attention to the head and neck. So tendency here is to just forget that the neck is an extension of the spine altogether and just kind of like wait. Also, Yoga with Adriene, you're looking at the video, so I try to consider that here. So now's the time where you can take your gaze from the video and draw it straight down. Imagine me coming and placing a little teacup on the back of your neck so the neck is nice and long. Arms are strong, we're working here with a lot of integrity. When you get tired, you're going to want to collapse your heart down, but see if you can stay pressing away from the mat, finding a little resistance there. Great. So there's lots of space between the ears and shoulders here. Gaze is straight down. Chin is tucked in just slightly. So again, we're not crunching, looking forward. We're not forgetting about it, but nice, long, beautiful neck. Then from the crown of the head, we light this fire, this spark that slowly travels all the way down through the spine to the tip of the tailbone right here. And we're just going to begin to walk the knees underneath the hips and begin to just light a little fire, shine a little light is what I meant to say, from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. And for me, rocking a little front and back helps me find that line. And you might notice that you're dropping the belly here and the tailbone's rocking up Or you might notice if the lower back is really tight that your pelvis naturally comes in, kind of arching the back. So just see what's going on there. And if you're new to the practice, this is starting to hurt your wrist, you're not used to working like this, you can take a little break by coming onto the fists as we explore this posture. Rocking front to back. Now, if you start to get a little bored, you feel like your time's being wasted, just keep going through your checklist. There's so much to do here. Then we'll come back to stillness. And now we're going to bring our awareness to the belly button, the navel. Navel draws up to the spine. So here's an exaggeration of dropping kind of the belly, forgetting about the abdomen, the abdominal wall. And I'm going to spiral the lower rib cage in together, lengthen the tailbone towards my heels, and essentially I'm going to draw the belly button, the navel, suck it up towards the back body, the spine. Don't forget about that long, beautiful neck. And now we're starting to cook with gas, as my mom would say. Now, notice where your toes are. So we have the knees underneath the hip points, just a reminder. Now notice where the toes are. They might have started to come in here, or they might come out. We might just not have that awareness. See if you can draw the ankles in line with the knees and the toes in line with the ankles. So all sorts of fun stuff happens back here. And we're going to create nice, strong lines. So we're stacking the bones, knees underneath the hip points, wrists underneath the shoulders, and we're drawing straight lines from those knees to press into the tops of the feet. Now, inhale in. On an exhale, press away from the earth. Go ahead and slap the tops of your feet down to the mat. Press away from your yoga mat and find that beautiful, beautiful long line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone as you draw your navel up. So essentially, you can come and have a little tea party on my back here. Hey yo, really want to say it, sorry. All right, last but not least, we're going to test out this tabletop connection by lifting the knees, hovering cat. So I do this one as a core strengthener, but also as a way of really checking in with all my lines and all my muscles, making sure everything's along for the ride. Because when I let my knees hover, oh, there I have to find that abdominal wall, that navel to spine. I can't let my shoulder blades shrug in. I have to broaden through the upper back body to support everything. And when you feel like you've had enough, you can lower down, curl the toes under, and take a moment and maybe just watch the next portion if the wrists are tired to maybe relieve any stress in the wrist. This does take time. This does take time, and I encourage you to not write anything off, especially if you're new to yoga. I feel like for the longest time I kind of just wrote off that I had bad wrists, and then I kept practicing mindfully. And, you know, with assistance from my mentor, and it's like, now, I can't, you know, we're good. And when my wrists start to talk to me, I know to, you know, counter that or to take a break. And so don't decide where it ends. Don't write yourself off. So you might just watch this next portion if you need to take some weight off the wrists. But I just want to go through the lines and the actions one more time. So we're pressing up and out of the palms, all 10 fingerprints, all of the knuckles, and especially the fleshy part between the index finger and thumb. Then I'm walking my wrist out just a bit, the base of my palm out just a bit, to make sure that I have this nice long line from the top of the shoulder all the way down to the wrist, stacking the bones. Then I walk the knees underneath the hip points, nice long line. And then I walk the ankles in line with the knees. I draw the shoulders away from the ears, and I lift up through the center back body. Find that long, beautiful neck, gaze straight down, then draw your navel up towards your spine. Now to check this one last time, we'll press into our foundation and lift up, just a gentle, tiny lift up through the knees, just to check in with that line or that danda from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone, that stick or that staff that literally holds us up. One more breath here. And then exhale, release. Curl the toes under. Maybe we're joining our friends here. Maybe you're taking a moment to rotate the wrist. And that's our tabletop tips today. So through your practice, you'll notice that the more we strengthen everything in this kind of tabletop position, the more we can apply this to our standing postures, high lunge, half moon, really all the warriors, plank, considering this one piece and finding space and grace through the limbs. So always building our poses from the ground up. Thank you so much for your questions. If you have questions or you want to start a conversation, please leave it in the comment box below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss anything, and be sure to visit us at yogawithadriene.com for more free goodies. Thank you, my friends. I love this kula. I couldn't be more grateful and more excited for all of us. There's so much potential. So thank you. Namaste.